Hi everyone, and welcome back again to Gold Ray Twin Flames YouTube site. I hope you enjoyed the last video, and hopefully we'll have another interesting one here for you this time around. Actually, the video that I'm going to do this time around is really one that I've wanted to do for quite a period of time, and I've been putting it off. And again, there will be additional information in our books, when they come out. But it's one that I thought it will be basically some new information about twin flames, which is badly needed on YouTube. We need some new stuff. We're not getting it. We're getting the same old stuff from everybody. And the title of this particular video is Twin Flames. The mission begins in childhood. And Nicole and I have done quite a bit of, as I mentioned, awakening when it comes to the twin flame thing. And we have come to the realization that there are a lot of twin flames that are out there who are waking up, who have developed certain degrees of awareness, the same as we have. We don't consider ourselves to be fully enlightened or awakened by any means, I can assure you. But what we have discovered along the way is some pieces of information that may be helpful to twin flames, in the fact that in actual fact, I'll give you a little bit of an in-run here so you can understand where I'm coming from. When twin flames come in or incarnate into physicality, when they come in, based on what experience they have from the past, for example, different countries, different races, different cultures, different belief systems that they have experienced are taken into consideration. So that what happens is this, as most of you already know, twin flames are here to emanate a template. If you don't know what a template is, please take the time to look it up. Twin flames are not here to stand on the street corner holding hands and emanating the love, as the New Age community likes to poop out on all kinds of videos. They're here to assist humanity in the evolution of the consciousness. So what has happened is based on the input of a one soul being, they would take into consideration the experiences that one soul being has had. Now, you must also take into account here that there are many different family trees or genealogies here on the planet. And in those family trees encompass many different races, as I mentioned, and many different cultures. But also you have to mention here, what I like to call soul groups. Now, a soul group or a soul cluster, whatever you want to call it, briefly defined, a soul group or a soul cluster is a group of souls by mutual choice and mutual development who continually come back in a group as a general rule, and they stay together incarnation after incarnation. So what happens is they tend to get very localized and focalized, if I can put it that way, in certain deeply ingrained belief systems, patterns, genetic structure, hereditary factors, cellular frequency, if I can put it that way. And also what happens is the DNA within them gets into a very locked and a very concrete type of situation that is very difficult for change to come into play. So what happens is basically this. When twin flames are coming in, as you all heard me say before, they split into two polarities and into two densities, one being male, one being female. They would also at that particular point in time choose, pre-chosen, let me put it that way, a particular race, a particular culture, a particular environment, a particular location on the planet, and a particular soul group that they have had previous experience in through a lifetime or an incarnation, as we like to call it here on the earth. And this is why I've mentioned before that when it comes to twin flames, there were literally millions of one soul beings, graduates if you want to call them that, who volunteered to come in. Many were called, few were chosen. And the reason that they were chosen, or selected if you will, is because of certain areas that they had went in, that they had developed the resume, if I can put it in very simplistic terms, to work with. That's why they were chosen. So if anyone still thinks that being twin flames is a piece of cake, and it's a romance and a fantasy, I challenge you to call me. Get a hold of me right now. Call me by telephone, by email, and I will give you an earful of what it's really like to be a set of twin flames. How much fun that Nicole and I are having, and we're not going around deluding people about all of the romance and the fantasies of, oh, I want to be with my twin flame. My twin flame is being a jerk. There is no such thing as somebody's twin flame being a jerk. In most cases, when I found problems with twin flames, and in a lot of cases it will be the female saying, oh, he's a jerk, he's doing drugs, he's doing this, he's doing that. And in every case where there's a problem with a set of twin flames, both sides are equally responsible. Inevitably, what I found when I started taking a look, that's one aspect of a twin flame union who was complaining about the other, is that he or she had just as many problems as the other one did, the only difference being it was more obvious with one, so the blame game starts. So it takes two to tangle, it takes two to have a problem. So, getting back to the twin flames incarnating and mission begins in childhood, what happens is as they come in, they have pre-chosen the location, the culture, the family, the soul group, and the reason they have chosen it is this. It is very obvious on the planet right now that we are having extreme difficulty in letting go of some of our old dogma, belief systems, and traditional cultural belief systems, racial belief systems, even our sexuality and our sexual belief systems in regards to this particular situation. Everybody's defending. Heterosexuals are defending their right. Gays are defending their right. Everybody's defending their right to express themselves in their chosen factor. Why don't we get serious and realize that no one on this planet is free from anything and everything? We're all constantly exposed to belief systems, energetic imprints, thought form realities, and patterns that we're constantly expressing. And one of the roles of twin flames now is as they come in, they've chosen that particular soul group, that family, and as they grow up as children, because children have an advantage when they grow up and when they first awaken. All children can do this, but for twin flames it will be a kind of a unique role, is as they manifest as a child in their particular family, in their particular culture, their particular race, their particular location, their particular environment, what they are doing is they're getting exposed in regards to the particular family that they're in to all of the energetic imprints in that particular soul group. So they've chosen a family, as it were, a family. That means mom and dad and grandpa and grandma, the whole 9 yards. I think everyone knows how this works. And they've chosen a particular family that has been exposed in a certain soul group that for hundreds of years has been reloaded and reloaded and reloaded, or imprinted, or let me put it another way. Line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. You've all heard those words before in a different book, as it were. But this is what has happened, is these have been repeated. And what happens is now at this particular point in time, if you have soul groups, you have families that are deeply riddled with so many energetic thought forms, imprints, energetic imprints, that are downloaded into the etheric body, and you pick up the same one, not the same one, but a new one, but it's downloaded with all of that previous stuff that are manifesting. You can see this result going on all over the planet. So what twin flames do is, as children, they come in, and they come in with that childlike attitude, the same as every child does. But what they are able to do, and many people will notice this especially in regards to if you can remember if you are a real twin flame, there actually are real twin flames who will probably listen to this YouTube video, and they're going to say, aha, he got it, and I did get it. What they will do, and they will choose the particular family or the soul group with a certain amount of energetic imprints and thought forms that have been generation, and so on. And what they will do is they will begin to siphon those energetic imprints through themselves as a child and actually manifest the symptoms, in many cases, of the soul group or the family energetic imprints in their behavior and through themselves through the actual spiritual aspect. And just because they're children and they're not awakened consciously does not mean that they cannot accomplish something. So what is happening is the mission for twin flames actually does begin in childhood. And it always amazes me. It really amazes me when I hear people say, well, I'm a twin flame. What's my mission, Mel? Duh. What's my mission? And if you sit down and you talk to them, you can see the background that they come from. Now, not everyone that incarnates comes into a similar situation. There are some soul groups and some families who don't have a lot of energetic imprints. Now, other people are going to say, well, Mel, you're talking about karma. No, I'm not talking about karma. Karma doesn't exist anymore on this planet. What we're dealing with is thought forms and energetic imprints. And they're downloaded in the etheric body. So when this happens with the children, what they're doing is they're manifesting these symptoms in regards to consciousness. And what they're doing is expressing the energetic thought imprints of the parents, the grandparents, and also of that particular soul group. Now, obviously, there are, I believe, I'm not certain, so here I'm actually going to say I'm having to make an assumption here. I'm actually going to say that for once. I'm assuming that there are probably thousands of different soul groups or soul clusters in that perspective. I'm not certain, but I know there's a great number of them. So in this perspective here, then again, there would be probably thousands of twin flames coming in at this particular point in time. But now it gives you a perspective of what twin flames are really here doing, what they're really here to accomplish. And of course, I want to mention here also, before someone gets their nose out of joint, that there are other energy beings coming in that would not be in the category of twin flames who are doing similar work. I need to acknowledge that. It's not just all about twin flames here. I'm just speaking about twin flames because that's what I am. So, in essence, what happens is these children are able to manifest. Now, some of them would have picked really shoddy, interesting, difficult, challenging lifetimes. On the other hand, there would be quite a few who would have had a relatively simple time or an easy time in the family that they were lived. There is no one, no soul group, or no family on this particular planet that is a clean sheet. For example, I'll give you an example of one of the things here that in the New Age and light worker community simply do not want to talk about this. It's taboo. Right after I have a sip of coffee. Half cold now. And that is the actual manifestation or energetic template of what's called sexual abuse on this planet. And I remember one time before I did do a video and I said there wasn't a family on this planet that somewhere in their closet they didn't have sexual abuse. And I got a couple of emails saying there's no sexual abuse in my family. A couple of them guys got really upset about it. And what I'm saying to you is it's in every family. It may not be directly in this particular lifetime, but it's in every family, either in one generation or a generation prior to, and it manifests, so it's affected. So one of the things that is a gift to us by the creative source is our sexual energy. And as we all know, here on the planet, is now sexual energy is used to sell everything. Okay, it's become a commodity, as it were. So our sexual energy is misaligned, misappropriated, misused, and abused in many different applications, and predators and manipulators and hustlers are very good at doing that. So what has to happen is this has to be brought into balance also. And this is another aspect of the twin flame connection when the mission comes in, because children are so innocent, especially twin flame children, as they are children and are going through puberty. As they go through puberty, what will happen is they themselves, in many cases, will experience a gamut of sexual patterns that will be expressed upon them. And it is expressed upon them simply because they have the ability to be able to purge and cleanse the sexuality or the sexual imprints or other energetic imprints of particular soul groups or families or genealogies of families going back hundreds of years. And they're able to purge and cleanse this all before, I might add, they even become consciously awake. And just because children are in little bodies, don't assume that they don't have a serious case of smarts, as it were, and have highly developed intuitive faculties. Nicole and I have Jeremy, our son, who is now 13, who is very empathic, very sensitive, and is a highly developed intuitive, so much so to the fact that in many cases going to school for him is very difficult, simply because he gets exposed to all of the energetic imprints and thought form realities of other kids whose parents are loaded to the hilt in regards to that particular application. And it's kind of interesting to note is I don't think a lot of people on this planet fully realize the responsibility that goes along with being a parent, as it were, here. I think a lot of people on the planet think that having children is just something they do because they got married, and they don't really have to pay a lot of attention to it. And there are others on the other side of the fence who are now finding out that if you're going to have children, pay attention to them and grow with them as they grow up. So what's happening is the twin flame connection actually begins for all of these individuals in childhood. So they'll take them on, as it were, cleanse and purge them through, especially as they're going through puberty. Now, the downside of that is as they get older, what will have to happen is they will have to actually manifest some of these integrated energetic templates as behavioral issues within themselves. For example, and I'm not shy, I'll share this with you. Everyone in my family, my mother and my father, both had drinking problems, and they were both smokers. And the same thing with my grandparents. On one side of the family, I'm not aware of what was going on the other side, had problems in regards to addictions. So therefore, I took it on as a template also, and manifested it when I was in my 20s. And it took me a great deal of time to overcome it. But the beauty of that system now is I had Nicole, who came from one of those childhoods where it was very balanced, it was not that difficult, but she learned to develop some of the finer qualities of the human species. There are some of us on this planet who do have the finesse, the qualities that are necessary for ascension, as it were, of the evolutionary process. And Nicole chose one of those. And the reason being is she could give it to me as a template. And then in turn, because I had experienced it with my family in a negative fashion, I was able to create a new frequency, which when Jeremy was born, he is not templated with any of the old belief systems, addictive natures, or physical, physical problems, or hereditary genetic physical things that are wrong. He doesn't have them in his template. So in other words, he's gotten himself a good start. that he doesn't have this. And again, this is what I emphasize. This is what twin flames are here for. This is what we volunteered for. Every set of twin flames. And you're going to hear hundreds of different stories about twin flames with all of this fancy bullshit that they keep telling you about. They came from here and they come from there and they're here to emanate the love. That's not what it's all about. And you keep hearing this same old stuff over and over and over. Some of them will even get into biblical references. And you'll get this new age stuff and twin flames and ascended masters and all of that crap. And exactly what it is crap. In reality, as twin flames awaken, and I'm talking about real twin flames, in essence here, and since Nicole and I have been doing these YouTube videos, obviously we do not please a lot of the New Age people, and especially a lot of the wannabe twin flames who want to get together and cuddle in a little cabin on the hill. What they're looking for is a relationship. They don't even need to be with a twin flame. They're just caught up in the belief system that there's some kind of romantic fantasy about twin flames. Twin flames are one soul beings, graduates, returning because they volunteer and because they have the resume that fits a particular soul group or soul cluster at this particular point in time, and the mission begins in childhood. So that what happens is when a twin flame, either the male or the female, actually get into their late teens, early 20s, they start manifesting and eliminating from their body a lot of the purging and the cleansing that they've done. Now, I'll describe it another way. What they do is, because a twin flame is a one soul being, when a twin flame comes in, it comes in with an etheric body, the same as everyone else, but there's nothing in it. There's no previous energetic imprints, thought forms in that etheric body, because it's a one soul being. They're a graduate. Now, does everybody understand what I'm saying here? This really needs to click, and it'll give you a whole new perspective about twin flame. So when they come in, they have that clear etheric body because they're one soul beings. They've graduated the earth plane. They don't have to come back here. They're done. Finito. I like that word, finito. And what happens is because they have that clear etheric body, yes, they're children, but what they can do is they can take on all of the patterns of that particular soul group, soul cluster, or family. Now you're getting what I'm saying? And what they can do is take it into their etheric body as a template for a period of time to manifest it in consciousness and clear it. So that what happens is, as they clear it out of their etheric body, as they get older, or clear it out of consciousness, every energetic imprint that they pass through them, like a bad case of diarrhea in some cases, what happens is the whole family, genetically, hereditarily, psychologically, and spiritually, is clear. So what it means is this, is that everyone in that particular soul group or family has, at an etheric level, had all of those patterns that they've previously been downloaded are gone. They're wiped clean. There's no more left, so that actually the person in the family, the rest of the people in the family, can live out the balance of their life with a clean slate, as it were, and start anew. But another bonus is this, is any of that particular family or soul group who has left the physical and gone back into the etheric planes or the spiritual planes is also deriving the benefit of what that twin flame child has done, in that they don't have to come back in with their etheric body and inherit all of the previous stuff that was in the soul group or in the family or the soul cluster, whatever you want to call it. Now that's worth getting excited about, right? Well, I'm excited when I found out, and I really felt good, because so many of us here, especially who are real twin flames, and we do know lots of real ones, when you hear this, I know this is going to resonate with you. I know it. No shadow, no doubt in my mind at all. This is going to resonate with you. And the reason it's going to resonate is this. Truth has a frequency. And as you awaken And as you give information, right now I'm tapped totally into higher self. I'll call him John for lack of a better expression. And higher self gave me and Nicole a pictorial view of this whole sequence of events that I've now verbalized. Now, I have not done it perfectly. But I've done a reasonably good job on it. I don't have to be perfect. But all I need to do is to make an impression on those of you that are listening and listening about information on twin flames that's not entertainment. The information to Nicole that I present is not entertainment. It is here for the practical application and understanding and the frequency of truth to resonate with you. And this particular video is one that I wanted to do for a long time. So the next time, if you are a twin flame and you're feeling down in the dumps, as it does happen, and your twin flame and you are not cutting the cookies or something, whatever, let me make this statement to you. You can do this without your twin flame, even if you discover you are twin flames. You don't need your twin flame to do the work. You already started when you were a child to do the mission, and I've given you the indication, the information to do such. So there's no excuse to say, I can't do it unless I'm with my twin flame. And the final thing that I will say here is this. I mentioned this before. Nicole and I do not need each other. We're together because we complement each other. Where I am weak, she is strong. Where she is weak, I am strong. That's the formulation of our union. And that is the only way twin flames are ever going to get together. When they get it into their heads and their hearts, that they need to speak the truth, cut the games, complement each other, and begin listening to some information that is bona fide. Now, I know I'm going to get some emails on this video, and that's okay with me. And I know I'm probably going to connect with a few more sets of twin flames who are going to really resonate with this one. And this is about, for those of you who are doing the work, those twin flames out there, who are having a difficult time and you are struggling, it's worth it. I can say this to you from the very bottom of my heart, and Nikki would do the same thing if she was there. She's shopping for school clothes for Jeremy, going back to school, that I don't want to come back, and I don't plan on it. But I can tell you one thing, with all of the challenges that I've faced and all of the things that I've had to overcome during the course of my life, and now I'm in the twilight area of my life, I am having so much fun. I am glad I am 67. I would not want to be a 20-year-old. I would not want to be a 30-year-old, because most of you don't have any life experience. You think you have a lot of experience, and you don't. And in this respect here, one of the things that I know is when you take life at a steady, even pace and frequency, you will be surprised of the knowledge and the wisdom that will come to you as you go along. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, because I sure had a great time sharing it with you. It's been a whole lot of fun. Some of you will have noticed in these past two videos also that my energy has changed in the last couple of months from some of the other videos that I've done. There's been a something happen to me during the course of the summer. For those of you who are intuitive enough and are empathic enough, you'll recognize it. From me to you. twinflames.ca. That's us. Have a great day.